I had one single job on my to-do list today, and that was to start packing up the living room. You know what I did instead? Do you know what I've spent the entire day doing? Painting the box that I was supposed to be packing things into. I mean, the box is pretty now, but it has nothing in it. Ouch. So hi, welcome back. We hit 300,000 subscribers last night, and I can't do anything to celebrate it because I was gonna do the drunk puzzle playground building as a celebration of 300,000, but I have to delay that a little bit, and I'm sorry because I'm so thankful for this. 300,000 of you subscribed to this shit. You're all fools. You really are. So I'm gonna have to delay that one for a little while because I'm not a drinker. I don't drink very often, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and I get drunk even more rarely than that. So I really need to clear out a whole day and the following day to do this video because it's going to kill me. But I was looking forward to it anyway. Like, it's taken us 9.5 years to get to 300,000 subscribers. And you'd think I'd be ready by now. But no, I guess not. I guess time management. Who knows how to do that stuff? When do you get taught how to do that? I can't even take care of myself. I got so invested in this pointless time waste of a project that I wouldn't have even eaten today if Dan hadn't come home at 3 o'clock and brought me back a pastry. I would have just forgotten. I wouldn't have even got my laundry out the washing machine, which I put in this morning. Like, yeah, I'm doing stuff, I'm adulting, and then I started the painting, and then the laundry just sat there. Oh, I need someone to look after me 24/7. I can't do this anymore. I'm dying. The older I get, the more obvious of a problem this becomes. Like, I could get away with it when I was 22. Now I don't even know how old I am. I keep thinking I'm 28. I'm not. I'm like 26, I think. 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I lost count. Wait, hold on. 94. Wait, we'll do it in 10. 94, 2004, that's 10 years. 2014, that's 20. Yeah, I'm 26. What was the point I was making that I needed my age for? So anyway, I have some updates for you, which I'm gonna throw you back to Erin yesterday, who sat down and explained it all when my brain was functional, and I'm actually gonna go get along with the job I was supposed to do today. Starting with taking down the solstice decorations, because I'm over it. It's been 3 days, it's done now. Anyway, updates, here you go. For those who haven't caught up from my last video, I'll do a little catch up here and also answer some questions and queries that came up, because I feel like I didn't do the best job of explaining the situation in the last video. So we're gonna try and rectify that. It is December 23rd today. So last Tuesday, which was literally 8 days ago, that's ridiculous, that feels like so much longer. A guy turned up at our front door at 7 o'clock in the evening with a legal letter that basically said, your landlords no longer own the apartment you live in, and due to legal technical reasons, you are no longer allowed to live here and you need to be out within a month, which was a lot to get that time of night on a Tuesday. And the whole thing did sound kind of dodgy. I know there were a lot of people in the comments of the last video saying, are you sure this isn't just a scam? That sounds really sketch, which, yeah, it does, but to be honest, live in Cyprus for a week, most things that happen here sound sketch even when they're not. So we immediately called up our property agent, who is the guy who manages this apartment on behalf of the landlords, because the landlords don't actually live in this country, they live over in the UK, so they're quite far away, and they're very hands-off landlords. We've lived here, I said in that video that we've lived here for 5 years, we've actually lived here for 6 years. I have no concept of time. They've not been a problem for us in the 6 years that we've lived here, but they've also not been like super involved or anything. It's just been very casual relationship, and the property agent has been an absolute wonderful person. He's been very helpful, great, fantastic, so we knew we'll just ring him up, find out what the heck is going on. He also thought that it sounded like a scam because he hadn't heard anything that was going on with the property. The landlords hadn't said anything to him. He had no idea, so he was like, no, this is stupid, no, bring the paper down to me, I'll take a look at it, but don't worry about a thing. It's also important to note here that this paperwork was all in Greek, and our Greek is very limited and does not extend to legal language. So we had a really hard time understanding what this paperwork said, and all we knew about what it said is what the guy who delivered it translated to us, and his English wasn't great either, so it was all a lot of confusion that first night. The agent, however, does speak fluent Greek, so he was able to read the letter and basically say, yeah, maybe we we should be a little more worried than I initially suggested. So he said to give him a couple of days, he's gonna ring around, he's gonna do some research, he's gonna contact the people who sent us the letter, he's gonna figure out what the heck is going on, which is exactly what he did. And he got back to us a couple of days later, and it was not good news. Because of the language barrier, we had initially believed that the apartment had been sold to someone else, and our agent said there may be a chance that we can see if these new sellers want to keep us as tenants and just start a new contract. But what's actually happened is that the apartment has been repossessed from the owners, our landlords, by the bank, presumably because the owners stopped paying their mortgage or something like that, and now the bank has to take it back and sell it on to an individual buyer so that they can make back some of their money. So it's an entirely different situation to if the apartment had been willingly sold to someone else. And that's basically why it's a bit of a mess, the whole thing. Oh, and just to clarify something, I saw a few people in the comments last week wondering if everyone in this apartment building was getting kicked out, but no, our landlords, or now ex-landlords, only owned this apartment, the one that we live in, we're living in, we'll be living in. Each apartment is owned by a different person, some people own their own apartments, and as far as we know, our ex-landlords only owned this one apartment, so hopefully we're the only victims of the ish that I will continue to explain. Now, this is where we get to the really sketchy bit, because our landlords would have known that this was going to happen for a really long time, and they didn't say a thing to us or to the agent who's been looking after the property. Nothing. In retrospect, some of the things that have happened in the last 18 months now suddenly seem a lot more sketchy than they did before. For example, last year they mentioned that they were thinking of selling the place, and at one point there was actually a lady who came around to assess the worth of the apartment, and we were led to believe this was for insurance purposes. And now, and I can only say that this is speculation, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm thinking that maybe that's not why they were assessing the apartment. I'm thinking maybe they were assessing it to see how much the bank could sell it for after they repossessed it. This was over a year ago. Also, some people were pointing out in the comment section that legally we shouldn't be able to get kicked out because contracts are a thing that exists, but we're actually on a month-to-month contract in this apartment, or we were anyway. We used to be on a 12-month contract and that lapsed. We switched over to month-to-month for a while, and at the start of this year the landlord said they wanted to up our rent by 50 euros, which we thought was fine because in all the years we've lived here we've never had our rent increased. That's not a problem. 50 euros, we can manage that. But we said we will only do that in exchange for another 12-month lease. So we'll get it all written down, it'll all be legally done. Not a problem, we don't mind as long as we can stay here for another 12 months. They never got back to us about that. The agent kept chasing them up about it, kept saying, hey, send us the contract so that we can do this, you can get your extra money, they can get their 12 months. And they kept saying, yeah, we'll do that, well, no problem. And it just never happened. And in hindsight, that now makes a lot of sense. Of course they're not going to give us another 12-month contract because they're not allowed to if it's being repossessed of them. Another little tidbit to throw in here, we are fairly certain at this point, now that time has gone on and puzzle pieces are starting to click together a little more clearly, we're fairly sure that our landlords never informed the bank that anyone was actually living in this apartment. Because when the guy came to deliver the letter to say, hey, you're living here illegally, he was shocked to find out we'd been living here so many years. And adding into the mix an incident that happened a few weeks before where somebody tried to open our front door with a set of keys, to which we just put it down as it must have been someone who was drunk or confused or on the wrong floor. It happens. At that point, we still had no idea any of this was going on, so we just brushed that aside as a weird and slightly spooky incident. But now we're wondering if maybe that was the first time a representative had come to the apartment and realised someone's living here, and they shouldn't be. And this is only speculation, but it does make a lot of sense for these people to not inform the people who are trying to take their apartment back from them that there are people living in it, because then they don't have to mention that they're making money off us, which obviously would be relevant in a case like repossession. The more we think about it, the shadier it gets. There's been all these little things that have happened over the last couple of years that seemed like nothing at the time, but once you piece them all together with this new information, with what we know now, this whole situation, all of a sudden, it's lots of questions. Lots and lots of questions. So luckily we never actually had our rent increase, because I'm thinking, again, this is just speculation. This may not be true at all, just speculating. But I'm thinking the only reason that they could have had for not telling us, hey, we're having this repossessed off us, you might want to look for somewhere new, is because we would go looking for somewhere new. And if we'd moved out early, they would have lost a lot of money in the form of the rent that we pay and have been paying on a home that they knew we were going to get kicked out of. And we had no idea until 1 week ago. And we were told we had less than a month to leave, which is not illegal, by the way. I know some people say, no, that's not it's not illegal. And to be honest, even if it was, there were some people saying, hey, you should chase this up legally. And certainly now with what I've said about the landlords being scummy, I'm sure there'll be people going, well, you should chase it up legally, you should go and hunt them down. But one, this would end up being an international issue because they live abroad, so that's complicated on its own. And two, I'm not sure how much money you think we have, but we don't. Like, we can't afford to do anything about it. And there's nothing that would change about it anyway, because it's too late now. The apartment belongs to the bank. The landlords have nothing to do with it anymore. It's been taken away from them, and we can't stay. Even if we chase people down and did legal stuff, well, it's done. It's done, it's over, it's done. We have to leave. So what's the point? You know, there's just, it doesn't make financial sense for us to try and chase it down. It sounds like a lot of stress and effort, and it's just so much easier to just be like, yeah, okay, you're a dick. I guess we're gonna go now. It sucks. It's a sucky situation, it really is, and I mean, I suppose we've had 6 years with no problems. Maybe we're overdue for something like this. I'm gonna be really skeptical now when I have several years with no issues with future landlords. I'm gonna be like, oh, you're building up for something, huh? So that all went down between Tuesday and Thursday last week. And then on Thursday, I gave my mum a call to let her know what was going on. A couple of hours later, she gets back to me. She says, hey, there's this house on my street that I know is a rental that has just become vacant. It's not up for rent yet, but I know the brother of the owner, and I've contacted him, and he says it'll be up for rent soon, so do you want to come see it on Sunday? Yes, please. So Sunday comes around, we go and see this property, and first of all, it's a house, which is crazy to me because we've lived in an apartment our entire adult lives, and a house seems like such a grown-up thing, and I'm aware that technically speaking I am a grown-up, but I don't feel like a live in a house kind of grown-up yet. I feel like that's something you do in your 30s. It is what is called a townhouse. A Cypriot townhouse basically just means it's super skinny, and to make up for that, it's got 3 floors instead of 2. And it's also not located in a town. It's semi-rural, just like this place is. If I were a realtor, I would describe the house as cozy and full of character. It is a really cute place though. It's 2 bedrooms. They are very small bedrooms, but they're big enough to get in them what you need to put in them. And it also, and this is the strange thing, the 3rd floor is actually a semi-finished attic. It doesn't have a staircase up to the attic. It has like a hybrid between a staircase and a ladder. I have no way to explain it. I have some footage of me climbing it though, and you can see it. It's a funky thing. I did this in heels, and I will never do it in heels again. It has the most adorable and very small kitchen, which I love. You could probably only have 1 person in there at a time, realistically, if you're actually cooking and stuff. But that's fine, because I do most of the cooking. You guys know, I love to cook. But I don't love my kitchen in this apartment because it's just not practical. Everything is so far away from itself. All the kitchen's kind of tucked around one wall, and it's got this ridiculously long, oversized breakfast bar. I've always wanted a small kitchen because I only need 2 counters to work on. It has yellow tiles on the wall. When I was a little girl, the kitchen that we had was yellow. And all my adult life, I have dreamed of having a yellow kitchen again. And this has a yellow kitchen. I can't... It's perfect. It's so perfect. I mean, the cabinets are orange wood, but apart from that, it's perfect. I am not going to complain about orange wood cabinets when I have yellow tiles and reachable counters. As you may be able to tell from my description of this place, we really liked it. It's very different from what we're used to living in, and even though it's over 3 floors, it's smaller than our current home. I'm not... if that makes sense. Like, there's more floor space, but it's less floor space. It's possible we may have to rehome some possessions in order to actually fit into this place. And we're getting the keys on January 2nd. That all happened in a week. Literally Tuesday, the guy said, hey, get out. The following Tuesday, we were putting a deposit down. I've not taken in any of this yet. I'm still trying to figure out why someone's ringing my doorbell at 7 o'clock in the night while I'm trying to eat pizza. Like, rude. What the fuck is happening? The fucking universe is just screwing with me now. Like, what the hell was that? You're just like, hey, guess what? You're homeless now. Nah, just kidding, don't worry about it. I don't even know. I'm realizing I have to come on camera and talk about this. And I don't even know how to explain this to myself. How am I supposed to explain this to a few thousand strangers? How is the small squishy ball of electric meat in my head supposed to... How is... Somebody give me thoughts, because brain empty. No have. Too much is going on. I haven't even had time to be upset that we're leaving our first home. I think that's gonna come though. I think probably the day that we actually have to give the keys in for this place. I don't know where we're giving the keys to either, because who the hell owns it? But I think when that happens, I'm gonna be a little emotional. I think that's when it's all gonna actually hit. And it's happened so weirdly that there's part of me that keeps thinking that it's not happening. Because how can it possibly, how can things happen that quickly? How can everything just be, that's all 2020 has been. It's just life being turned around again and again and again until we're all dizzy and confused and no one knows what's going on. So yeah, there's your update on that. That's what is going on. If you can make sense of it, please let me know, because I can't. And now I guess we should go and pack some boxes, shouldn't we? That would be the sensible thing to do, right? Let's go do that.